The golden age of Hollywood was a time of glitz, glamour, and stardom. But behind the flashing cameras and glamorous red carpets, many of Hollywood's brightest stars had secrets that the public wasn't ready to hear. In a time when being openly gay was both dangerous and taboo, these icons navigated their careers under the heavy weight of society's expectations. Today, we're uncovering the hidden stories of 9 secretly gay stars of the golden age of Hollywood. Actor 1, Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was the epitome of Hollywood's leading man. With his striking good looks, smooth voice, and charisma, he became one of the most sought-after stars of the 1950s and 60s, starring in classics like Giant alongside Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean, and Pillow Talk with Doris Day. His career was built on a romantic image that resonated with the public. He was the perfect leading man, often playing the charming, straight-laced lover in films. But behind the scenes, Hudson harbored a secret: he was gay. Despite his relationships with women, Hudson never publicly acknowledged his sexuality. His private life was carefully guarded by a network of managers, agents, and publicists who worked tirelessly to maintain his straight-laced public persona. This wasn't just about Hollywood's image, it was about survival. During the Golden Age, being openly gay would have ruined a career. Hudson's secret remained hidden for decades, even as he became one of the most famous actors of his time. It wasn't until 1985, when Hudson was diagnosed with AIDS, that the truth finally came to light. His diagnosis shocked the world, and in a time when the disease was shrouded in fear and stigma, Hudson bravely revealed his condition. This moment was a turning point not only for Hudson but for the LGBTQ+ community as well. The revelation about his sexuality and health helped to bring the AIDS epidemic into the spotlight and sparked conversations about LGBTQ+ rights. Hudson's legacy is now seen in a new light. He's remembered not just for his films but for his courage in the face of societal pressures. His story shows the lengths to which Hollywood stars had to go to protect their identities, and it also highlights the need for acceptance and understanding that continues to resonate today. Actor 2, Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter was a heartthrob who seemed to have it all. In the 1950s, his blue eyes, blonde hair, and athletic build made him a favorite of teenage fans. He was a leading man, starring in films like Battle Cry and The Sea Chase, and his fanbase adored him. His good looks and wholesome image made him an ideal fit for the role of the all-American boy, someone who could effortlessly charm women both on and off the screen. But despite the perfect image, Tab Hunter had a secret that he kept hidden from the world for years: he was gay. Hunter's struggle to keep his sexuality a secret was compounded by Hollywood's deeply conservative values during that era. Being openly gay in the 1950s would have been the kiss of death for a Hollywood career, and Hunter knew that all too well. Despite being linked to numerous women, including a famous romance with actress Natalie Wood, Hunter was often quietly protected by his studio from any rumors about his sexuality. In the 2000s, after retiring from the spotlight, Hunter finally opened up about his sexuality in his 2005 autobiography, Tab Hunter Confidential. In the book, he shared the painful experiences of having to hide his true self for the sake of his career, including the fear of being outed in an era when such things were not only taboo but dangerous for one's career. The book revealed that Hunter had secretly dated men and had a long-term relationship with actor Anthony Perkins, famous for his role in Psycho. Hunter's honesty about his past was groundbreaking for the time and helped to pave the way for more LGBTQ+ actors to come out in the following decades. He remained a beloved figure in Hollywood, not just for his acting but for his courage in embracing his true self later in life. Hunter's story is a testament to the power of authenticity, showing that even in an era of repression and fear, being true to oneself is the ultimate act of rebellion and strength. Actor 3, Montgomery Clift. Montgomery Clift was one of the most talented and admired actors of the golden age of Hollywood. Known for his brooding, intense performances in films like A Place in the Sun, From Here to Eternity, and The Heiress, Clift became a symbol of method acting, bringing a new level of emotional depth to his roles. With his striking looks and talent, Clift was often cast as the tortured, misunderstood romantic lead. However, there was one thing that Hollywood and his adoring fans didn't know: Clift was gay. Montgomery Clift's sexuality was an open secret among those who worked with him in Hollywood. However, in a time when being gay could destroy an actor's career, Clift felt the need to keep this part of his life hidden. Clift was known to be deeply private about his personal life, and he kept his relationships with men out of the public eye. This secrecy was not just about preserving his career. It was about survival in an industry that would have been unforgiving if his truth had come to light. The pressures of this double life took a heavy toll on Clift. He struggled with addiction and personal demons, particularly after a near-fatal car accident in 1956 that left him disfigured and in pain for the rest of his life. The accident, combined with his private struggles, led to a decline in his career and personal life. Despite his hardships, Clift continued to work in films, although his roles became fewer and his health deteriorated. Clift's sexuality was not publicly acknowledged until after his death in 1966. It wasn't until decades later that the full extent of his personal life and his relationships with men came to light. Today, Montgomery Clift is remembered not only for his groundbreaking performances but also for his courage in living a truth that was too dangerous to share during his lifetime. His legacy is a reminder of the personal sacrifices many stars made to protect their careers while living in a society that demanded conformity. Actor 4. Billy Haynes. Billy Haynes was a popular star in Hollywood during the 1920s and 1930s, known for his suave demeanor, witty charm, and leading man status. Haynes had a reputation as one of the most talented actors of his time, starring in a number of successful films, including The Midnight Girl and The Army Game. But Haynes' story is unique, not only for his talent but for his refusal to conform to the Hollywood system's demands on his personal life. Billy Haynes was openly gay in a time when such a thing was taboo and dangerous for an actor's career. While his sexuality was known in Hollywood circles, it was something he had to hide from the public eye. Haynes had a long-term partner, a man named Jimmy Shields, with whom he was deeply in love. However, unlike many other actors of the time, Haynes refused to hide his relationship, even in the face of tremendous pressure from the studio system. In the early 1930s, the Hollywood studio system was at its peak, and major studios like MGM had strict codes of conduct for their stars. One of the major rules was that actors had to maintain a public image of heterosexuality. Haynes' refusal to comply with this unwritten rule eventually led to his downfall in the film industry. In 1933, MGM offered Haynes the option to either end his relationship with Shields or lose his career. Haynes chose love over fame and left the studio. Although Haynes' film career ended prematurely, he went on to have a successful career as an interior designer, which he found much more fulfilling. He and Jimmy Shields lived together for over 40 years until Haynes' death in 1973. Haynes' story is one of resilience, and his refusal to hide who he truly was shows the strength of character that many stars lacked in that era. Billy Haynes may not have become a lifelong film star, but he became a true pioneer for LGBTQ+ visibility in Hollywood. Actor 5. Charles Laughton. Charles Laughton was one of the most respected actors in Hollywood during the Golden Age. With his commanding presence, deep voice, and unmatched versatility, he delivered unforgettable performances in films such as The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Witness for the Prosecution, and The Private Life of Henry VIII. His roles often portrayed complex, morally ambiguous characters, and his acting skill earned him a place among Hollywood's elite. However, Laughton's personal life was as complex as the characters he portrayed. Laughton was openly rumored to be gay in Hollywood circles, but he kept his sexuality a secret from the public. He was married to actress Elsa Lanchester, best known for her role as the Bride of Frankenstein. While their marriage was unconventional and filled with mutual respect, it was also understood that Laughton was gay, and their relationship was likely a cover for his private life. The couple had an open understanding, with Elsa fully aware of her husband's sexual preferences. Laughton had relationships with men throughout his life, but in the deeply conservative 1930s and 1940s, there was no room for public acknowledgement of his homosexuality. Laughton's career continued to thrive despite the secrecy surrounding his personal life, but it came at the cost of his emotional well-being. Laughton's personal struggles, combined with the societal pressures of hiding his true self, weighed heavily on him. After his death in 1962, it became clear that Laughton's life was a testament to the difficulties faced by gay actors in Hollywood at the time. His legacy is now seen in a new light, as one of the pioneers of nonconformity in a rigid industry, whose work remains iconic. Laughton's story proves that even in a time of repression, authenticity found its way into Hollywood, albeit in quiet, hidden ways. Actor 6. Clive Brook. Clive Brook was one of the biggest stars of the early 20th century. Known for his charming good looks and suave performances, he became a leading man in British cinema and Hollywood films, starring in hits like The Yellow Claw and The Triumph of the Scarlet Pimpernel. His suave demeanor and aloof persona on screen made him the epitome of the dashing, sophisticated gentleman. However, beneath the polished surface of his career, there was a hidden truth about Clive Brook: he was gay. While Brook's personal life was never publicly discussed in detail during his career, rumors about his sexuality circulated in Hollywood circles for years. His relationships with men were known to many within the industry, but in an era when being openly gay could ruin an actor's career, these relationships were kept secret. Brook was known to be particularly private about his personal life, and his sexuality was carefully hidden from the public. Like many other actors of the time, Clive Brook had to maintain a public image that was strictly heterosexual. This led to a series of arranged relationships and marriages designed to protect his career and his public persona. Despite this, he was often rumored to have had relationships with other men, including a well-known affair with British actor and playwright Noel Coward. Clive Brook's career eventually waned as the Hollywood studio system evolved, but his legacy remains tied to his timeless performances and his courage to live a life that was true to his own identity, even if it was concealed for much of his life. Today, as we look back on Brook's work, we can see him not only as a talented actor but as one of many stars who navigated a difficult time in Hollywood history. His quiet defiance and the ability to maintain a career while hiding his true self is both tragic and heroic. Actor 7. Fernando Lamas. Fernando Lamas was an Argentine actor who found fame in Hollywood during the 1940s and 1950s. Known for his suave charm, dark looks, and Latin heartthrob appeal, Lamas became one of the most popular stars of the time. He starred in films like The Savage and The Big Cat, and was known for his roles in swashbuckling adventures. His intense, masculine persona made him a favorite of female fans and a typical leading man in Hollywood's golden age. However, behind the scenes, Lamas harbored a secret that he kept hidden from the public eye throughout much of his career. While married to actress Esther Williams, a well-known swimming star, Lamas was known to have had relationships with men. His sexuality was something he carefully concealed, even as rumors swirled among Hollywood insiders. Despite being publicly seen as a heterosexual heartthrob, Lamas was rumored to have been romantically involved with other men, including several fellow actors and even directors. Lamas' private life remained under wraps for most of his career, as he knew that being openly gay in the 1940s and 1950s would have jeopardized his career. He was part of a generation of actors who had to choose between fame and their true identities. Lamas was protective of his public image and carefully avoided any scrutiny that might expose his sexuality. His marriage to Esther Williams, who was aware of his relationships with men, allowed him to maintain a more conventional public life while keeping his personal life a secret. Though Lamas' career eventually declined in the 1960s, his legacy as one of Hollywood's most dashing and charismatic leading men persists. Today, his story serves as a reminder of the sacrifices many stars of the Golden Age made to protect their careers and reputations. Lamas' ability to maintain his image while concealing his true identity is a powerful example of the tension between personal freedom and societal expectations in Hollywood's. Actor 8. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo was one of the most iconic actresses of the Golden Age of Hollywood. Known for her mysterious, aloof persona and her ability to portray complex, emotionally nuanced characters, Garbo captivated audiences in films like Grand Hotel, Camille, and Ninotchka. Her androgynous looks, combined with her piercing eyes and deep voice, made her an unforgettable figure on screen. But beyond the roles that made her famous, Garbo's personal life was just as enigmatic as her characters. Garbo's sexuality has long been the subject of speculation, with rumors of romantic relationships with both men and women. While she was publicly linked to famous men, including actor John Gilbert, many insiders in Hollywood believed Garbo had relationships with women. She was fiercely private and carefully protected her personal life, much like many of her contemporaries. The mystery surrounding her relationships only added to the aura of secrecy that surrounded her entire persona. Garbo's reluctance to discuss her personal life publicly meant that Hollywood and the press often speculated about her relationships, but she never confirmed or denied any of the rumors. In fact, she was known for her reclusive nature and refusal to engage with the public about anything that wasn't her work. In the 1930s, when the pressures of Hollywood and societal expectations were immense, Garbo remained a figure of great intrigue, refusing to be defined by the typical romantic expectations placed on female stars. Her relationships, though kept private, were well known among those close to her, and it is believed that Garbo had several significant relationships with women, including a rumored affair with actress and writer Mercedes de Acosta. Despite the challenges of living as a private lesbian in a world that demanded heterosexuality, Garbo's legacy as one of Hollywood's greatest stars endures. Actor 9. Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck was one of the most formidable actresses of Hollywood's golden age, known for her versatility, sharp intelligence, and strong screen presence. With her powerful performances in films like Stella Dallas, Meet John Doe, and Ball of Fire, Stanwyck became one of the highest-paid actresses of the 1930s and 1940s. Her ability to transition from glamorous leading roles to gritty, complex characters made her one of the most respected actresses of her time. However, behind her iconic roles, Stanwyck's personal life was as layered as her performances. Throughout her career, there were whispers about her relationships with women, though she was publicly married twice. Her first marriage, to actor Frank Fay, was tumultuous and marked by infidelity and emotional distress. However, her second marriage to actor Robert Taylor, whom she divorced later, was more public and is often cited as the basis of her image as a strong, independent woman. Stanwyck's sexual identity remained a well-kept secret during her career. While she never openly acknowledged being gay, many insiders believed she had romantic relationships with several women, including actress and writer Barbara Stanwyck, as well as a rumored affair with fellow actress Jean Arthur. These rumors were never confirmed during her lifetime, and Stanwyck maintained her professional persona as a fiercely private woman who kept her personal life hidden from the press. Despite the societal pressures of her time, Stanwyck remained one of the most respected and celebrated actresses in Hollywood. Her relationships, though private, were an open secret within the industry, but she remained steadfast in her determination to keep her personal life out of the limelight. Stanwyck's legacy is multifaceted. She is remembered not only for her impressive body of work but also for the quiet strength she exhibited in keeping her identity hidden in an industry that demanded conformity.